60. Back in 1995, I decided I would like to have an early American classic car, and with the help of a friend, I decided on a 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Seville. In 1996, in January, I found a car advertised in Hemmings Motor News and proceeded to talk to the owner of the vehicle, and we agreed upon a price, and in June of 1996 the vehicle landed here in Australia. This vehicle is a 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Seville, and my understanding is that it has all the extras and or options that were available at the time. One of the options is the air cleaner, the dual fours. The second option is the air conditioning. The third option is the Autronic eye. And the fourth option, which we can't see at the moment, but we'll have a look at later, is a foot pedal inside the car so you can change the radio. When I purchased this car, I made the decision to keep it as original as possible. The colour of the car is called copper. However, I've lightened it up just a little bit from the original colour to try to keep it pretty much the same. When I talk about keeping the car original as possible, I have made a few changes with issues that I thought were probably more towards safety, I guess, than anything else. One of them is that I replaced the original generator with an alternator that looks like the original. Although it's not, it looks like the original. I've also replaced the wipers and put in an electric wiper motor over the back here, and I've also included windscreen washers. I've got a little motor underneath the guard here. And one of the other things I did with the vehicle before putting it all back together was I took the core out of the radiator and I put in a much more efficient core into it, but kept the outside shell, and so it still looks pretty much original. When I purchased the car, I also purchased one of these Delco batteries with the yellow caps, and the battery's still working fine after all these years. It's probably that particular one's probably about 7 years old. Also, with the Eldorados, they came with 3 horns. They had a high and a low, and they had a trumpet, which is up under this guard, which gave it a very, very distinct sound. and lastly under the bonnet. So the name finally comes back. It's a reproduction under hood or under bonnet to cover the motor. It's my understanding that all new vehicles came with this Cadillac card, which identified the owner's name and possibly address. This is a reproduction, and obviously I've put my name on that, but I've also put the date that I got the car, which was the 11th of the 6th, 1996. And incidentally, the build number of this Eldorado Seville is 1996, the same year I got the vehicle. You'll probably notice the white wall tyre, how bad it is. I recently had a blowout at 70 mile an hour on the rear wheel. Caused a little bit of damage to the rear stainless steel and up under the car, but it wasn't too bad considering that we had the blowout at 70 mile an hour. Inside the boot here, all this lining that you can see in here, I got from a company called SMS. I was advised that they had new old stock, and to me it looks pretty much like the original that was issued with the car, because I kept all the original lining, boot lining that came out. On the sides, this is all original. These side covers, they're all cardboard with the print on them. I'm still doing work up the front, which is why they're open. And this is the original jack here, and also the original parts that go with it. Most of these boot motors failed over time, so I sent this back to the US to a man in New York, and he restored it for me, sent it back, put it in, and it works fine. I'll be saying, what's this? That's the... Okay, as we look inside the car, I've replaced the carpet, but it was pretty much the same colour. The seats and the side door side trims, both back and front, are all original. Okay, all the parts that came off the car, I had them restored, and fortunately they could be put back on the car. This section of the door trim here, this is all original, the same as the one on the other side and the rear ones. What's not original is the dash. I've tried to match it as closely as I can to the original, but obviously you can't get the same pattern. Okay, so when you come down on the floor, the foot pedal I was talking about is over here. So this top one is the dimming for the lights, and this bottom one down here is the foot pedal to change the radio while you're driving, so you don't have to take your hands off the wheel. The headlining used to be a copper colour, and it was very, very dark. So what I did was I replaced the headlining with something to lighten the car up a little bit. Also the bows in the roof, they're all original. I didn't have to touch them. I didn't have to polish them in any way. And also the sections, the lights, I never had to touch the lights or the trim going across where the light's connected to. That's all original, and I never had to do anything with it. One last thing is that the mirror on the Eldorados is a three-way mirror. You can see the little tab at the bottom, and there's 3 different locations for this mirror for brightness of vehicles behind. And the other issue with the cars is a lot of them had these little red dots on the wipers, and they were part of the rubber itself. It clipped into the wiper assembly.
You right? I'm off 6 o'clock in the morning, leaving.
That hasn't really been driven much for 12 months, it still runs really nicely.
Oh, bloody hell.
But it's given a lot of TLC.
Yeah.